Welcome back to the Sound for More channel. Today I have the pleasure to introduce you to a new module inside Tera Pro called Ring Zed, which is a fantastic resonator. Before I continue, I would like to remind my viewers to subscribe as it helps with growing the channel. Additionally, if you would like to participate in the giveaway and own a copy of the new in-app purchase, courtesy of VirSyn, of course, please do follow the instruction contained in the video description. Thank you again. So we are inside Tera Pro standalone version, so you can see better the screen. I just have an Akai Professional MPK Mini Plus connected to Tera Pro to my iPad. Nothing more than that, no extra effects. So if you go to the settings here and you go to in-app purchase shop, you can see there is this new module at the bottom, which is called Ring Zed. Remember, if you get stuck, you can always go to the help menu, open your user manual, which has been updated, scroll down, of course, and then you will find the Ring Zed in-app purchase there, and there it is. So it gives you a good enough introduction to Ring Zed. Of course, this tutorial will help further. As you can see, as you can read, it is a resonator. It uses physical modeling synthesis, as you would expect. It borrows the rings code from mutable instruments, so that's quite it's just quite good. Let's click down and click outside to minimize the help. If you click up here on the preset name, of course, I'm already inside the Ring Zed folder or category of preset, but if not, if you go up one level in terms of hierarchy, then you find the Ring Zed, and then you have a number of presets, which of course you can bring up. And this is the module you can see here. It says Ring Zed, and as any other module in Tera Pro, click on Ring Zed to expand that module. Of course, click on it again to close it. So why don't we take a listen to some of the presets, few of them, not all of them, and then we delve into how it works. Remember, Tera Pro is a fantastic synth. It gives you a lot of possibility. You have a max polyphony up to 128, which is fantastic. And sometimes you pay the consequences, of course, in terms of moving between one preset to the other, because he has also this move transition, which is perfect, is what I really always wanted personally. But of course, that means that you can still hear part of the previous preset ringing. The other thing, pay attention to the meter here and the picking here, because sometimes as you move between presets, it might be too high, and then of course if it starts picking, of course, it will produce distortion. So when the meter starts to go in yellow, it's a warning. When it's in red, it's definitely time to do something about this. So to start with, decrease the volume. It's a resonator, so it uses an input to, of course, excite through, of course, programming and synthesis, and then reproduce, depending on a number of parameters, a new sound, which, of course, would be pitched. It's like, for example, Ring Zed being a bar of strings, and then you use an input to actually excite those. Of course, you have different parameters that you can use to do that. I quite like this one, Cave Drop. I used it in a tutorial in terms of Jamul K autofills. It works really nicely. So you can hear it's starting to be high. Adjusted a bit the volume. Sounds really, really great. I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun trying the preset, but also to program it, because it can be quite a lot of fun in terms of changing the parameter and getting unexpected sounds. Now let's create a new preset. So you click on the name of the preset. Remember, you can go back to this category or preset anytime you like. From the top of the hierarchy, select the Ring Zed. But let's click on the plus sign here to create a new preset and then select new. So we have a standard preset common module, 3 oscillators going into a mixer, then filter, and the filter going into the amp module. Now, the beauty of Tera Pro is that you can change the UI, declutter it incredibly quickly. So you can go to filter here, click, and just say, select the Ring Zed odd. You can even select the even. So you grab the secondary output, but select odd for now. And expand Ring Zed to see the module. So, typical here randomization button, the to output here with display. Here you have the input with the modulation, of course, which you can use to excite, of course, and produce a pitched sound for what would be therefore an unpitched sound. Here you have different synthesis module. The first one is activated, which is a modal resonator, which helps to simulate strings and plates, but you can change it to the next one, clicking here. This one is sympathetic strings, so for type of sound like sitar. The next one is enharmonic strings, of course, extended. It is an extension of the car plus strong synthesis with comb filter. The next one is quite good to have a 2-operator frequency modulation, FM synthesis. That's great. Then next we have a Western chord. So this is strings tuned to chords. Amazing. And the second to last is a car plus reverb. So car plus synthesis with comb filter reverb. And then the last one is a Easter egg. So an organ string machine based on Roland RS-09. Now you have a number of controls here: frequency, structure, brightness, damping, and position. And as you move between the different synthesis modules, each one will change in terms of behavior based on the synthesis module that you selected here on the left-hand side. Here you have access to polyphony, okay, 1, 2, 4. That means, of course, that the higher the polyphony, and it will treat, of course, subsequent notes not interfering with previous one, because you have polyphony, of course. So it's, if you don't remember how to use it or what the different parameters do, it's very simple, because you have a description here on the right-hand side. So on the first one is a modal resonator. As we said a moment ago, the frequency here would be the frequency in semitone. So you can hear that it's changing the semitone. The second parameter here, the structure, as you say here, is a frequency ratio between the partial. Then you have brightness, which adjusts the level of, it says here, higher harmonic between 0 to 50% low pass filter opening, okay? And also you have between 50 to 100% of the Q factor, okay? Then you have damping, of course, your decaying time. You can pretty hear the difference when it is low as a value. And then you have the position here, the excitation position, the point of the string or surface where the excitation is applied. And of course, depending on the position where you are applying the excitation, then you have very different type of sound. Now you can modulate all of those, of course. You have different input here, which you can choose using other modules. Then you have strum here, which at the moment is using a key trigger. And effectively, this is your envelope, right? And indeed, you could even decide to use an ADSR, for example, into this one. And then you have CV input, of course, which allows you to change the pitch. And then you can apply some effects as well. Formant 1, 2, chorus, ensemble, reverb 1 and 2. Now, let me show you a couple of things. So if I was to remove the CV input, of course, it's still producing sound. Bear in mind that it doesn't have any input at the moment here, so it's using a pulse or a noise burst, okay, to produce the input. So it's helping you out if you haven't configured it yet. But I still have a key trigger here on the strum module. Of course, if I was to remove that on the strum module, then of course you don't hear anything. There's no input, and there's no also anything driving the envelope to say pluck now. So that is not happening. So you need to have something here. For example, you can bring in an ADSR. Of course, you can click and hold to expand the ADSR. And then you can change some of the parameters. So let's say sustain down to 0. And we can change the attack. We can change the decay. Let's change the attack. The release. So you can hear there is a release there, of course. But remember, this works very much as a trigger for plucking, right? To create that resonation, right? So click again on it, change it. I changed back to key trigger for now. The great thing, of course, of having the envelope there is that you could, for example, bring in an LFO. And then that will continue, of course, based on the LFO, which it keeps triggering, right? And that's important, right? So let's bring back in the key trigger. And then, of course, let's readjust the key track here for the CV input. As I mentioned, you can bring in something to excite with. So you can say I bring in an oscillator 1. There it is. We can change, for example, the square. Okay, I can decide to have a modulation or not. Okay, there you are. So you need to pay, of course, a little bit of attention in terms of how you configure it. And as I said, you can add some effects as well. Let's add a bit more decay. Okay, that's nice. And you can hear, of course, the different effects that are being applied. Of course, you can set them to none. So, and then you continue like so. You can change the synthesis. So this one is simulation of strings vibrating in response to other strings. Of course, you might want to go back to a simple pulse. Similar control, semitone here. This one is detuning now, the stretching. Brightness. So you can simulate material like wood or nylon. more rubbery sound. Then you have, of course, damping and then the excitation point as well. The next one is enharmonic strings, so car plus. So again, semitone changes here. In terms of frequency, the structure here becomes non-linearity, inharmonicity of the strings. And you can hear that enharmonic type of sound as you increase the level, of course. Brightness, of course, and then damping, and then, of course, the position. The middle one is the 2-operator FM. Can adjust the frequency, of course, the structure here, and which is the ratio between the 2 operators. Then you have brightness here, which is your FM index. Then damping, of course, which is your amplitude decay and FM index. Yeah, and the position, which is your feedback path. Okay, the next one is Western chord, so strings tuned to chords. Let's change these to key trigger. And let's change the polyphony higher. So frequency semitone, the structure here, which you select the chord. Remember, this is tuned to chord. Brightness, of course, to simulate the different materials. Damping, control the decay. And then the excitation point. Okay, moving forward. Car plus reverb. Frequency semitone. Inharmonicity of the strings in terms of structure, your brightness, type of material, then you can control the decaying time and then the position as always. And the last one. So frequency is your root note. Then you have your chord type here. Your brightness, of course. Decay. And your, of course, position. As I mentioned, you can create some very interesting effect or Okay, I hope you enjoyed the introduction to this new in-app purchase, the Resonator Ring Zed, and as always, see you next time.